Hi, Sarina.
Hi.
Nice to see you. You're smiling.
Yeah.
How difficult a squad was this to pick?
Of course, it's always difficult because you have, you can pick 23 and you would like to pick a little more because players have been in the environment, have done well. But at the end, you have to make those decisions, which is for some players, for 23 players, very good, and for some players, disappointing. But yeah, we've had the whole process. We've seen the team, of course, a lot over the last week and the last months. So yeah, it's done now.
Obviously, this is the first time we've spoken to you since Millie Bright announced that she wouldn't be part of it. When did you find out, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, of course, the last couple of days I found out. We were in conversations, and yeah, it's sad, it's disappointing. And what I said last week too, of course, it's not nice when you don't feel well physically, mentally, and I just hope she feels well very soon.
How difficult has it been? Obviously, you weren't going to take Fran, but obviously you wanted to take Mary. I presume you wanted to take Millie. How much of a loss are those two players, and how difficult is it to replace them?
Yeah, of course they've done so much for us, so much for England, England football. Have been playing the tournaments since I've been here. So that's hard to replace. But there's also other players who've done really well, and those players get now the opportunity to step up and to show. So you have to move on too.
Lauren James is in the squad. How fit is she, and how much of a risk is it that she's going out?
Yeah, it's not a risk. Of course, we have some time. We still have a month. She's training really well at club, and doing. She's at the point where we hoped she would be at this stage, and she keeps progressing. And hopefully, when she comes into camp, she can go into training with us and keep progressing towards the first game on the 5th of July. So that, yeah, we don't see it as a risk. We're just building her.
Michelle Aguimang, she's in. How excited are you to bring her in, and why has she been picked? Why? Because obviously you've got 7 forwards in the list.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, you wanted 10 the other day. But yeah, I think she brings something different. I think we're really strong up front. And also we have so many different qualities with the players we picked. And what she showed when necessary, so much physicality, and of course we all still remember her first goal for us against Belgium. I think that's good to have in the team.
Finally, only 5 midfielders, and George Stanway's only played an hour of football this year. Is the midfield a little light? Would you like to have more players and more experience in that midfield?
Yeah, of course we have to announce it as all midfielders and strikers and defenders. I think we can move around, when we puzzle, move around some players in different positions. So on this paper it looks like we're not so in depth, but I think in the team we are enough in depth in midfield.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anton. Back to Emma. Thank you.
Hi, Sarina.
Hi.
The hard bit's out of the way. I just want to ask how you are really, because we've been talking about these players, leaving the squad. You've had some really difficult conversations, difficult decisions. So, how are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Of course, that's part of the job too. Well, that's the main part of the job. Make decisions, who to select, who to play during games, who to sub, and things like that. And yes, those hard conversations are not nice because I know what players do and how hard they work to make the squad. And have also great behaviours from players and supportive to the team. So that's very hard then to give them this very disappointing message. But at the same time, I also had very nice messages to give. So that gives me some more energy too. And now that's done, I can move forward too. And I'm really excited about the team and that the Euros are so close now.
You were just talking about Michelle and obviously her being in the squad. Is she a bit of a wild card that you can bring on off the bench? She's quite unknown to a lot of the other teams.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, and we'll see what she can bring. And I've seen that, of course, in training sessions and what she did in Belgium. She brings something different, and I hope she can show that in the summer.
Thanks, Sarina.
Go to Tom. Thanks.
Hi, Sarina. It's a 23-player squad, and this time last year, the men's head coaches were naming 26-player squad. So just wondering how disappointed you are with that, if at all, like that there's that discrepancy between the two competitions.
Yeah, you want to have that equal, if we talk about equality, but I'm happy with the 23 players. I think then you can make, like, for every position, you can have 2 players. I think what the rule now is that when a goalkeeper gets injured, you have an opportunity to bring in another goalkeeper during the Euros. I would hope that the way forward will change that rule. That if there are injuries and players have to go out, that you have the opportunity to bring in another player. That for me, that would be a very good solution. But I don't have to go with 26 players. You can only start with 11, and if you're not gonna play a full tournament with 11 players and make that. You need the whole squad, but 26 is a lot.
Thank you. And could I ask about Millie with her news? Obviously, we wish her well. Will you and Sonia Bonpasta, her club manager, maybe together reflect on whether or not there were any opportunities that could have been taken to give her a rest over the course of the last season? Because she's clearly physically and mentally drained. And have there been chances missed to give her a breather over the course of the campaign?
Yeah, of course. But we are in conversations. I think what we all try to do, of course, perform at the highest level. And then recover and do that again. And that's what Chelsea is in. So when you go at the end of the season, you have only big games, and the players want to be involved in those games too. And where you can, you manage some minutes. That's what Sonia has been doing, and that's what we have been doing too. And then what we're trying to do also is give all the support outside of the pitch. And then you hope that players stay in a good place. And unfortunately, at this moment, that's not the case for Millie.
And compared to 3 years ago when you won the title, there's been obviously quite a lot of retirements. I'm not just talking about Mary and Fran, but obviously Rachel as well, Ellen, Jill, and so on. And I'm wondering whether you would agree that this is a less experienced squad than what you had when you won the tournament 3 years ago.
Well, when I came in, the team was very. There were many players, very experienced. But I do think we have enough experience in the team. There's about 16 players who have played a major tournament. Also, with playing at such a high level a club that you are experienced with having media around, playing for big crowds. So I don't think that's a problem. I think. The experience is enough. The balance with very young. They're not all very young. With players that are coming in and playing their first tournament, they're so eager too. So I think that balance and those dynamics are pretty good in our team.
Thanks. Go to Luke.
Hi, Sarina. Nice to see you. You've obviously gone into a lot of international tournaments as a manager. Have you ever known one as disruptive and with so much upheaval as this one before?
Well, my experience is before major tournament that there's always noise. So we expect noise until we go into the tournament and probably stays. The difference is that in 2017, well, I went to my first tournament as assistant coach in 2015, and now just the attention and the visibility of the women's game has increased so much. So it sounds, and that's more noise, but there's just more journalists here and that write and show what we are doing. So that's a lot more. But we just have to deal with it and move on and focus on football.
From the outside looking in, there are words like crisis being used and turmoil, and like I've said, upheaval. Like you say, there's a lot of noise. What can you say to reassure us in the media and the public that it is a happy group, that it is a motivated group, and it's a group that's together?
Yeah, I think. I think you see parts of it. You're not in our environment all the time, and I can assure you that the training sessions have been really good last week. What you could see in Portugal, I thought it was a very energetic game, and a good game. And you saw all these connections. And I think Spain was 2 halves. So the first half I thought we played really well. Second half we were struggling a little bit, but you couldn't see that. Yeah, I didn't see anything that there was no connections within the team. So yeah, that's for me, like having had conversations, lots of football conversations, also in camp, seeing what happened off pitch and on pitch with the team. I'm really happy where we are right now.
And you find that your communication with your players has been fine, that there's been these accusations that you were too blunt or too honest. Do you have any regrets about the way you've communicated with your players, or you wouldn't change anything, presumably?
No, of course, after I have conversations with players, I always review, okay, what went well. I think for me it's really important that I am honest, that I treat people in the right way. And sometimes you have very good news and sometimes you don't have good news. And I don't go around the bush with that. I just give that message then. And then I can't always control how people respond on that. I just hope that they have the clarity when they can move on. And then afterwards, with the staff team, we can give some support.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. We'll go to Kit at the front, please. Thank you.
Hi, Sarina.
Hi.
You said that you would have wanted Mary in your team. All the players you've spoken to have said they'd have wanted Mary in the team. Was there any last-minute phone call to try and get her to reverse her decision?
No, that's done now. That was last week, so that's a week and a half ago. We've been speaking about that a lot. Those conversations were finished. And then, we went back to business and moved on with the team.
And just going back to Mary and Millie, I know they've got their own individual reasons for the decisions they've made, but how tough is it for you to process, I guess, that two figures that you've had so much success with and have been such an important part of your time as England manager are not here, not because of a conventional injury, but essentially because they're not prepared to play for the team?
Well, there's two different situations here, and it's just sad that they're not in the team. But at the same time, it gives opportunities for other players to be in the team, and they step up. And of course, I will always cherish what we have had. So that's a long period of time. We had such an incredible journey with lots of highs and, of course, a couple of lows too. That's part of football. It's part of life, and I will never ever forget that. But at this moment, this is the situation. We've moved on. This is the squad now. I'm very happy with my squad moving forward, and I'm really looking forward to the Euros.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kit. We'll go to Sandra, please.
Thanks. Hi, Sarina.
Hi.
I'm just following on from some of what you were saying there about just the journey you've been on, the differences you've seen as a manager. And some of what Millie was saying when she talks about being mentally and physically at her limit. I just wanted to ask you, I mean, what differences have you noticed in terms of how players are able to manage or handle just that kind of the fatigue that might come in between the intensity of a hectic season and going into a major tournament, particularly compared to the 2022 Euros to now, when obviously, as you mentioned, England's profile growing?
Yeah, I think like what we say all the time, the level of the game has increased so much, so the demands on the players have increased very, very much on the pitch and off the pitch. That's nationally in the Women's Super League, all the games they play, but also internationally. But also with the Nations League started, the international games, the level and the demands on the international games have increased too. Then the attention around and the players are household names now. That's life changing and that's very exciting. But at the same time, players are not robots. They have to deal with these things too and keeping up. So that's also why we're trying to support as good as possible on and off the pitch. And that's what we do. That's what the clubs do. And hopefully many players stay fit and healthy.